3, 2, 1, 0.
What it do, couch coaches of the internet? It is Cinco de Mayo, and shit has been popping off in the elevated sports world lately. If you're listening on the podcast, thanks for joining in. Please leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. If you're listening on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit those notifications so we know what's going on. RJ, other than getting your shit canned out of our basketball fantasy playoffs earlier this week, how have you been doing, bro? I see you got a new desk. I see things are really popping off in RJ's world. What's up?
You know, I've been listening to the comments, the feedback. I appreciate the feedback and all.
Straight
so we
up.
got the desk working. Desk is working a little bit. You know what? We're fine tuning it. But listen, that's a pretty low blow, okay? I went up against a very good team in the playoffs. And to be honest, Zach LaVine was down. So, like, I was just happy to be there, you know? I'm just happy to be there. And
Yeah, you gotta be, dude.
I'm about to win against. I'm gonna get third. I'm gonna get some Yahoo trophies. It's whatever, you know. It's my first time doing it. Whatever.
Yeah, and when
man.
when RJ says that he's just lucky to be there, he means that he's literally one free throw lucky to be there. The dude almost didn't even make the playoffs.
Exactly.
But other than that, it's just good to see you again, man. Since we last tangoed, I feel like a million things have been popping off. I've said popped off 3 times in this podcast already. This shit is really popping apparently.
Apparently, man, and you know what's been popping? I've been having a lot of tacos, so my belly's be popping.
Cinco de Mayo. You got to, baby.
Yes, sir.
You got to.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, drowning out your playoff loss with tacos does make a lot of sense. But RJ, other than wallowing in your self-indulgence, you got any hot shit for the people? We can get started here. You got some hot shit?
I do, and you know, I'm going to start this off. You know, some people I've heard on the streets have called you and I YouTube stars.
Oh,
I've heard
is that what they're calling us?
That's what they're calling us.
That's what the word on the street is.
That's the talk. That's the word on the street.
Yeah.
So our fellow YouTube star, Logan Paul, is going to be fighting Floyd Mayweather, and that just tells me Money Floyd needs a buttload of money right now because there's no way, no reason he needs to do this. He's already undefeated. Like. It's just a money grab. And for Logan Paul, I mean, this gives him all the clicks. This, you know, the algorithm and all that stuff. He is living great. So this is good for him, but I just don't see the reason why Money Floyd would do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been one to root for Floyd Mayweather just because A, he hits women, and B, he can't read. So It's like, how can you know?
Yeah.
It's difficult. But I don't think he needs. Dude, I don't think he needs money. I just think he's bored, and maybe he just wants to knock out this whack white dude from YouTube, which is kind of what I'm hoping. Because I want to see Logan Paul hit the deck, dude. I want this shit to be over. I'm just afraid that it's gonna be like, okay, you'll get 10 million from this money, but you gotta make it last. You can't just knock his ass out in the first round. I'll be so pissed. He's got to fight him. I want to see a real fight.
No, and Money Floyd Mayweather, you know, he's a technical fighter, so he's all about going the distance and, you know, getting in the grapple every now and then. No, man, I want you to haymakers. I want you to box like you're Mike Tyson, please. We need it. We need that.
Yeah, I agree. I just hope that I hope. Well, don't get me wrong though. If Floyd Mayweather wanted to knock the fuck out of this kid, I feel like he could absolutely just knock him out. I know he's a tech fighter, and he's probably the best tech fighter in the history of boxing. But regardless. Numero dos hot shit, RJ. What you got?
Yeah, so I'm going to stay in the boxing realm. This one's a little sadder, but a boxer named Felix Verdejo. It's Cinco de Mayo, so I gave that my best stab at it. But
I'm proud. That was close.
He is charged. Thank you. He was charged with kidnapping, causing of death. So, like, that's pretty much of a Debbie Downer. What happened was his mistress came to his house with a pregnancy test and was like, hey, I'm having your baby. And then flat out disappeared. All of a sudden, her body is discovered. And then people are like, wait, hold on. Wait, what happened? And now he's been charged with kidnapping causing a death. So that's pretty awful. It's, you know, we're still waiting to see more facts come out. So it's allegedly, but he has been charged. So there is enough evidence to charge him. It's pretty awful. It's not great. Not a great look for the boxing sport, especially when we just talking about Money Mayweather abusing women. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, you know, it's horrible. It's obviously horrible, and I hate to. Like, I mean, this country. I mean, and we're getting further and further away from this, the way that everything goes. But innocent until proven guilty. You know what I mean? Like, yes, he's been charged. Yes, every sign in the world is pointing to the fact that
Mm-hmm.
he did this. But not only did he kill her, he killed the infant baby inside of her, which
Yep.
is where this
Ugh.
gets really fucked up. And it's like, I don't know, man. It's I just don't get why people who are uber successful can't just either like swallow their pride and do what they need to do to be a human being just like everybody else in this society has to do. Like, it feels like they're maybe above it or something like that. I have no idea, because it's not like he's like struggling for cash. Like, you think
Yeah.
that the child support is going to break him, so you're going to kidnap this girl and kill her? It's just, it blows my mind, and it's pretty slimy even to talk about. Like, I not you really brought me down on Cinco de Mayo, bro. You're really bringing me
Yeah, I'm
down.
sorry, but I also feel like this is kind of what Elevated Takes is. We're going to talk about stuff that
Yeah.
other networks aren't going to talk about. Like, this isn't really being publicized, and it's a pretty big event. Like, it needs to be talked about, but we've talked about it enough. Shady, what's your hot shit?
So I'm gonna lighten it up a little bit, because that was a dagger through my
Please do.
mortal soul. So number one, I'm gonna now, ladies and gentlemen, listening in on the podcast, you know that I'm a LeBron sympathizer. I'm a LeBron fan. I think that he's one of the greatest
Here we
NBA
go
players of
again.
all time. No. I'm about to throw you a curveball,
No?
RJ, because I'm about
I'm
done.
ready for it.
LeBron
Ooh.
saying earlier this week that he probably will not ever get back to 100% is absolute horse shit. This is, dude, it just screams to me like he's like, oh no, I might not actually win another championship. So I gotta plant this seed of doubt. So when I do fail, I can go back and be like, well, like I said, back in May or April, like, oh,
Yeah.
I just didn't, I was never gonna get back to 100%. This last injury killed. Like, what are you talking about, dude? You hurt your groin 2 years ago, and that ruined the season for the Lakers back when you were playing with all those kindergartners. And now you tweak your ankle and you're talking about this shit, dude. I've justified LeBron being a GOAT for a long time. Michael Jordan would have never pulled this shit. Larry Bird would have never pulled this shit. It really kind of breaks my heart, to be honest. Not as much as your second hot shit, but still breaks my heart.
Yeah, so I'm here to pile on LeBron whenever we can. So I am for this. I'm about this.
Yeah, it's kind of your thing. It's kind of your thing.
Listen, also another LeBron thing I'm gonna throw at you. He, at the beginning of the year, he was like, yeah, this play-in tournament to get in the playoffs is great, man. I love that. Get more people watching the game. I love that. Now that his team is in danger of...
Where was that quote?
I don't have that quote. I don't have that exact quote. But it was in an article
I don't remember
off
him
of
saying
ESPN.
that. Maybe I'm just crazy.
He did say it was on. I read it on an article on ESPN. I don't have the source in front of me, but I do have this quote: LeBron on the play-in tournament now that he is in here. He quote, "Whoever came up with that shit needs to be fired." End quote. So now that it affects you personally, that's not okay. Whoa, no, this sucks.
But does it affect him? He's the 5th seed. It didn't start until the 7th seed, right?
Sixth seed, I believe, and he's tied as the coming out of this podcast. The 5th, 6th, and 7th all are 36 and whatever.
Got it. Okay, because I'm pretty sure it's the 7th. So, I think it's the 7th seed. I don't think it starts at the 6th. I'm pretty sure 5 and
7 versus 10, 8 versus 9. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
but he could very easily fall in there because they're 7, 6, and 5 all have the exact same record. So one game here or there with about roughly 8 games left, depending on what team you're looking at. He could very easily fall down. So it does apply to him now.
Yeah. Well, either way, I'm pretty sure that, like I said, this is just LeBron planting the seeds of doubt, and it's kind of something that I feel like I wanted to deny him doing for the history of his career, but it's kind of just, this is just what he does. He always tries to justify it. Don't get me wrong, still think he's a fantastic player, will be a fan for the rest of my life, but this sucks to hear as a fan. But I'm going to move on to something a little less depressing, because one of my teams, that is not led by a man named LeBron James, is pretty much turning it around and doing pretty incredible right now. After starting the season 12-12, the St. Louis Cardinals, my St. Louis Cardinals, are riding a 5-game winning streak. And RJ,
okay,
I smell a pennant, baby. I smell a pennant.
Ooh,
They're coming. The
you're
Yankees suck.
you're yes,
With the
they do.
Yankees out of there, I'm telling you, the Cards are going to take her home.
You know what? It is possible. I think the AL is wide open, so it's possible. I'll give you that. I'll give you hope.
Oh,
We want to have a
it's
conversation.
more than
We can talk
possible,
about
baby.
that.
It's
We
more
can
than
definitely talk
possible.
about that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see when it all wraps up there in October. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. But I don't know. I think it's about time we move on to everything that we've always dreamed of, RJ, and that's the elevated
Okay.
takes. This is the whole reason we got this show, baby. I think it's
Damn
about
right.
time. You ready to elevate me, bro?
I am ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready to be elevated. That's for damn sure. Then you
Okay.
better start yo elevated take right now.
Okay, so this is how it's going to go. I've been playing fantasy football for over 10 years, close to 15 years now, and I love it. I have a great time. I play with my dad. I'm in leagues with my former coworkers. I'm in multiple leagues. It's a blast. I enjoy it. This was the first year, actually, that I tried fantasy basketball. And people, let me tell you, fantasy basketball is way better than fantasy football. And it's really just boils down to the day-to-day transactions that can occur in fantasy basketball that do not occur in fantasy football. So in fantasy football, you have Monday Night Football, and that's like the end of the week. Tuesday, not diddly. Wednesday, your waivers run. Okay, that's cool for like maybe 5 minutes of your day. Thursday Night Football, you have maybe a player. Friday, nothing. Saturday, nothing. Sunday is just a bombardment of a whole bunch of stuff. And if you're busy on Sunday, you got a wedding, it's a lost day of fantasy football. Now, when it comes to fantasy basketball, every single day you got games. You have multiple players. You're adding, dropping people. You're making trades. It is amazing. And just imagine if in fantasy football, your tight end curls the corner, makes a huge block, and that running back runs for a touchdown. You get 5 points from that. Well, that's what 9CAT, 9CAT, that's the platform that I played for fantasy basketball, and I loved it. I'm not going to go over every category. Search it, 9CAT. It's very interesting. But you get scores for blocks, assists, other stuff that usually would go not just the points, stuff that goes under the radar, the under the radar stats. Hey, elevated takes, look at that. Elevates people who are not relevant when you watch the game to extremely fantasy relevant. You could grab a point guard. You could make a team that is solely off of assist. You could grab a big man who's technically center, like let's just say Julius Randle. Gets a crap ton of assists. That's how you can build your team. The different strategies to build your team is so much better than with fantasy football. It's not just, I'm going to load up on wide receivers, or I'm just going to load up on running backs and hope they don't all get hurt. No, and you can actually transform your build throughout the year. My boy Shady over here made like 8 trades to get the team how he finally wanted it. Me, myself, I made a couple trades.
30.
I was a wire rat. I was adding, dropping people left and right, and that's the only way I made it into the playoffs. Yes, there was a free throw. Thank you. I believe it was Zubac. Thank you. I appreciate it. But when it all boils down, fantasy football
15.
is great, and I can't wait to get Shady into it. But once we start it, man, he's gonna be so upset because the stuff about fantasy football, basketball that was so great was the day-to-day interactions, and you just lose that
5,
in fantasy football.
4, 3. All right.
That's it.
Wrapping her
I'm
on
done.
up.
I'll let you go.
Wrapping her
Yeah.
on up. Yeah, no, that was pretty sweet, man. I completely agree with you because I have never gotten through a fantasy football league in my entire life. Now, mind you, I stopped playing back when I was young. Homeboy's not a big gambler anyway. I don't like putting no money on the line, even if it's emotion. I don't like putting emotion on the line when I don't really have to, and so fantasy football just always kind of sucked for me because I swear I'd get a dope draft, get a great draft pick, and then they'd go down with an injury, and then your team's kind of screwed. Fantasy basketball, it ain't like that, folks. Like, you could find a gem on the wire that you bring in and replace your dude with, that has been injured for a while. Wait until he gets off of the IL. and all of a sudden you've got a squad because you picked up somebody like a gem that nobody really saw, and now you double up because your guy was hurt for 3 months, but you were able to make it on through. It's just so cool because you don't. It's not all about like who scores the most points in the league that RJ and I joined, right? So it's not all about offense. It's not all about trying to do. It's like you need steals, you need blocks, you need all these different types of aspects that make it really, really interesting. No, dude, I agree with you. Fantasy basketball, shit's dope. Shit's really cool. I love it. I'll
It really
definitely
is.
be playing. It's reinvigorated my love for fantasy sports, and so I will definitely be playing football with RJ in the fall, only because fantasy basketball was so sick this year. So, and your
Yeah,
boys
I
in the
mean,
championship right now, playing the
he
guy who
currently is.
booted you out, bro.
He did. Do we really have to bring this up every single time we have any type of discussion? I mean, I kind of brought it upon
Every
myself
chance I get
bringing
to,
this topic
yes, every
up.
chance
Yeah,
I get to.
but
Yeah, you shouldn't have lost.
you know, well, listen, Levine went down like you were talking about. I lived off the wire the best I could. There was slim pickings. Slim pickings. I did pick up Mo Bamba, and that helped a lot. Still lost, but helped a lot. But that's
Slim
my
pickings,
elevated
bro.
take.
A lot of my people came off the wire. I don't know what you're talking about.
At this late in
I
the season,
killed it.
it's kind of slim pickings.
Yeah, and
But
RJ
regardless,
mentioning that I made 8 trades. I made closer to like 30 trades. So wasn't exactly 8 trades. I was not very good on draft night, but we made it to the chip, baby.
No.
We made it to the chip.
if you kept your draft team though, you would have been the worst team in the league by far.
Because of injury, yeah. But I
Yeah.
liked my draft team, honestly. I was actually just looking at that the other day. It wasn't too bad. I got rid of Jeremy Grant like immediately, like because his efficiency was so poor in the first like 3 games he played. And he ended up screwing me. I really wish I would have been able to get a hold of Randall early on in the draft because the dude just went off this year. But hey,
Was
can't
a
win them all.
monster this year.
Can't win them all.
All right. Well, that was my elevated take. I think we got a good flavor on it. A good little back and forth. Shady, are you ready for yours?
Oh, I'm ready, baby. It's the highest take that I've ever brought to the table. It's gonna explode through the roof, my friend.
Okay. Well, guess what, man? Your time. It starts right now.
All right, folks, I'm about to bring the thunder. Something you've never heard before, but you're gonna hear a lot moving forward, and I guarantee it. Duncan Robinson, not Steph Curry, will end up as the greatest 3-point shooter of our generation. Let me repeat it for you, ladies and gentlemen. Duncan Robinson, not Steph Curry, will end up as the greatest 3-point shooter of our era. Last week, homeboy down in Miami became the fastest player to hit 500 3-pointers in NBA history, 35 games faster than Luka Doncic, who was the last player to hold the record. Now, I will give you that this record has been broken an awful lot lately, but this is why it's different. Let me give you the last 5 people to break the record. D-Rob, Luka, Dame, Donovan Mitchell, and Klay Thompson, okay? Everybody but Duncan Robinson is a superstar, is an all-generational talent, all have the 100% freedom that we all crave to shoot whatever shot they want whenever they want to shoot it. All are primary offensive options, either 1 or 2s. And guess what? Robinson ain't. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Robinson is a 4th on that team if he's lucky. Jimmy ain't having that shit. You can't be launching up 40-footers like Dame does on Jimmy's team. He gonna beat that ass. He ain't into it. He's barely a 4th option like I just said. He's definitely behind Jimmy, Adebayo, Oladipo when he's healthy, and him and Hero go back and forth. And honestly, the Heat aren't even that thrilled with Hero. The Heat think that everything's going to his head. The fame is getting too much. He's more concerned about shoes and endorsements right now. But what I can tell you is if the Heat keep this core together, Depot has shown he can't be an offensive threat. He's just going to be one of the best perimeter defensive players in the league. Jimmy's getting older. He can't continue to be the number 1 scoring option on a team. He has got to start to move the ball more, and he's already showing us that he's getting older, way faster than he's getting younger. Homeboy, this is the first year in 3 years that his points per game hasn't declined, and it's because he's playing with Adebayo, 2 old-ass Blues from old school, and Ariza and Iguodala, and a bunch of toddlers. So what I'm saying is this team is going to change. Pat Riley knows how to win. Spoelstra knows how to win. In time, Jimmy will be the tempo, Adebayo will dominate 15 feet in,
30.
and Robinson will take the blunt of the offense. And when Jimmy is gone, those reins will be off. Robinson will become the best three-point shooter of our generation. Steph will just be that guy who made the shoulder shake dope, and he rode on Kevin Durant's coattails to a dynasty. In 10 years, kids will be screaming, a Duncan,
15.
when they stroke it from half courts at the
No
park.
way.
And that is a Shady guarantee. Fight me.
Okay, well, I just don't see how you can say that. Like, let's just be honest here. Seth Curry is just way better. If I had to build my franchise around Duncan Robinson or Steph Curry, I'm taking Steph Curry.
Yeah, Steph
Now,
Curry's a decade into his career. Of course you would. He's shown you
Okay,
what he's
now the
made of.
part-
That's a silly comparison.
What I will here's what I will agree with you. Let's start on equal terms, okay? So Tyler Hero, I came in the season so happy. I drafted him in the fantasy basketball. I dropped him because he is not thinking about basketball. He is not thinking about basketball at all. So I agree. The pathway for Duncan Robinson to be a leader, you're right. Jimmy's starting to get older. I'm not going to repeat everything you said. There is a path for that to happen with Duncan. And could he be one of the best three-point shooters of all time? Yeah, that it very well could be. I see him, and this is actually really high praise, but just not in my personal belief system. He reminds me of like a Reggie Miller. Great player. Some GMs would choose to build their whole franchise around Reggie Miller.
Indiana
I
did.
would not. I know exactly. Some teams would. I would not. If I was the GM, that would not be the path I want to go. But if that is where you want to go, that's fine. But saying he's going to be better, he's better than Steph, and people are going to be
Hold up.
Duncan. No way.
Dude,
All right, go ahead. I'll
you're
let you-
saying
let you
who's
get
they're
it.
going to build their dynasty around. That's not what I said. Curry is way more shifty, right? He's got a better finish around the rim just because he's so like we
Yep.
saw that at Davidson. Like the dude can put it in the bucket. I remember I'll never forget in the tournament when he was 3 feet underneath the baseline and just threw it up behind and still banked it up and made the layup. Dude has a Charmin touch. Okay, dude has the softest touch in the world. But I'm telling you that he's already on pace to do it with fewer shots than anybody else who basically broke that record. He can't shoot it whenever he wants. He's got to be a spot up right now. Eventually, he's going to develop the ability to create the shot just like Steph did, and he's going to end up a better three-point shooter. I'm glad you brought up Reggie Miller, by the way, because in my opinion, Reggie Miller's the third best three-point shooter of all time right now, right behind Ray Allen. And then and Steph right now. I think Steph's the number one shooter right now. But I'm telling you, Duncan will surpass him. That dude from Michigan will surpass. I don't know if that's where he was raised. I don't think it is. But that's where he went to college, baby. And he will surpass him.
I'll allow
and he'll become the best three-point shooter of this generation. I told you. That's a Shady guarantee. Come see me in a decade.
Okay.
Come see me in a decade.
All right. I'll give it to you. It's definitely an elevated take.
Man,
it's hard to believe that
I was
Steph
bringing
Curry
it.
will not be up there. But I don't want this to seem like I'm shitting on Duncan. Like I think he's a great player. I think in the right system, he can be a superstar. And maybe this is the right system. I think we'll have to wait and figure that out. I think it's too early, but hey, you know what? You're bringing the heat. That's cool. I love it. Bring the heat.
Man.
Bring
Bringing
it.
the heat. Always bringing the heat. So, now that you mentioned that, the people bringing the heat.
The heat?
What do you think we introduce the people to a little segment we like to call Stroking It, RJ? You want to do some stroking
yes,
it?
Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
That's perfect.
So, Stroking It, ladies and gentlemen, is a new segment where basically we identify people in sports who, as of late, and late is a relevant term, could be a week, could be a month, could be a season, whatever. Who cares? If they're stroking it, they're stroking it. But who are absolutely stroking it, okay? Whether it be basketball, baseball, football, any athlete who is on a fucking tear gets brought to the table, and we talk about it with each other. Tell the other person if we think that they are also stroking it, and if they are, baby, they're stroking it. So, RJ, who is stroking it in your world as of late?
I'll tell you right now who's stroking it, and it's really not even close in the baseball world. It's Mike Trout. And you're like, oh yeah, of course, he's like the best, right? Yeah. Well,
yeah,
guess
he
what?
is.
Because he's
Yes.
freaking stroking it. He's the best.
He's
Like he's
always
stroking
it. That dude
So
is
I'm just
stroking it
gonna
like
give you
Ron
like a
Jeremy,
couple.
bro.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm just
Am
going
I
to give you a
wrong?
couple of like the more, no, you're not. A couple of the more common baseball stats that most people know, and then I'm going to get to the deep, just a little deeper than under the surface. So he has the highest batting average in all of baseball right now at
Mm-hmm.
4.407. Insane.
Damn.
Absolutely insane. Like if he keeps that up all season,
45%.
maybe he's one of the, yeah, like that's insane.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna go to his runs created. So like whether it be a home run, RBIs, he leads the league in that too at 36. 36. Adjusted, and now we're gonna get into like, you know, a little bit nitty gritty. The WAR, which is win above replacements at his position, at the offensive position, he leads league at that at 2.5. And I'm gonna keep going, but I'm gonna stop there because I think that's enough. We're not gonna make this too long, and because
Nah.
he's leading the league in over 8 different categories:
Damn.
offensive win percentage,
Damn.
adjusted OPS percentage, plus runs created. We talked about that one. Adjusted batting runs, adjusting batting wins. I can
That's
go on and
nuts,
on.
dude.
He is absolutely crushing it. You're like, he's the best. Well, yeah, but LeBron right now is the best in his sport, debatably, right? Mike Trout's the best, debatably. You might want to say someone else is up there. No. Mike Trout is the best right now. It's not even close. Shady?
No, dude. Here's where I'm at with baseball, okay? I've already given everybody my takes about how umpires suck, and the MLB umpires are the worst. Of all of them, they fucking suck. So, like, I haven't been following baseball as closely as I probably should. So I didn't know that, dude. I didn't know that Mike Trout was just out there stroking it, dude. I did not know that. But it doesn't surprise me. He's been on a steady, and by steady, I mean a meteorically steady rise to one of the greatest baseball players of all time. Because I think baseball is a very unique sport in that you do not necessarily have to win championships for people to consider you like a GOAT, like you should, but you really don't have to. And that's kind of always been like the background conversation with Trout is like, are you actually going to win a whole lot of pennants? Like, or are you just going to win like, you know, one, or what's the deal here, man? But at this point, dude, if he keeps up what he's doing, it just reminds me of like Miguel Cabrera back in the day when he was like winning triple crowns or competing with stuff
The
like
Triple
that,
Crown.
like
Yep.
just dominating the league. So good to hear. I like Trouty, unless you're like the sad puppies or kittens up in Detroit or St. Louis. Haven't been really paying a whole lot of attention, but good to hear Mr. Trout is blowing it out and is stroking it.
Yeah, let's not talk about the Motor City Kitties, okay?
No, they suck.
Not right now.
There was a petition to change the Reddit that is our Motor City Kitties to be like, hey guys, so the team sucks so much ass, like legitimately here. Should we just talk about like rescuing cats around Metro Detroit? Like, is that something we should do? Because this team is such garbage. So we might have a new Reddit thread to like hang out on and see a bunch of kittens.
Fun.
So, that's cool.
I love going on the Reddit threads. Hopefully some people from the Motor City Kitties is here. That'd be dope. But
super dope.
Shady,
give us a shout.
What is your? Yeah, definitely. What's your stroking it?
So my stroking it is not a career guy like Mr. Trout. Isn't going to be a GOAT by any stretch of the imagination. But boy, I tell you, this dude has been stroking it. Since he has been traded to the Rockets from the Miami Heat, flower child Kelly Olynyk is making Pat Riley regret every decision he has ever made. Okay, well that's obviously a lie. All right, Pat Riley is one of the greatest basketball minds of all time, so I'm sure he's just fine. But the dude is stroking it. Dude, what we were just talking about earlier with fantasy basketball, I picked him up off the wire right after the trade, just on a whim, and boy, he's probably the sole reason I'm in the championship right now. Like I had a quality squad. I had a quality squad, but he was like the linchpin that he gives me everything. He gives me points, he gives me rebounds, he gives me steals. The dude is stroking it, and you got to be happy for him. You know what I mean? You got to be happy for a guy like that who's always played as hard as possible at basically every stop he's gone through his career. He finally gets back. And I gotta tell you, dude. So let me break it down for you. Let me tell you Kelly O's last few games since he got traded. Okay, I'll only give you what I told you: points, rebounds, and steals, because I'm not about to go through the entire stat line.
That's good.
That would just suck.
Throw
for
it out
everybody,
there. We're ready,
including us. So 17, 10, and 3, great. 8, 9, and 3, not great, but hey, 3 steals, dude. Three possessions.
You'll take it. You'll take that.
You'll take that all day. 24-13-2,
Yes, sir.
28-9-2,
Yes, sir.
21-8-2, and
Yes, sir.
23-10-4. Are you kidding
Give me
me,
some of that.
Kellyo? Are you kidding me,
Damn.
Kellyo? The dude is stroking it right now, and I gotta
That's
be
really
honest, dude,
good.
I hope he gives himself a contract because John Wall ain't the future down there. He ain't it.
No, I
JW ain't
think
it.
you read those numbers. I think any team would be ecstatic to have that guy on there. That is a
Absolutely.
crazy line. Now, granted, he's great, and I had him on my fantasy team earlier, and I cut him, and just about half of fantasy basketball players would have cut him because that's what happens. He was pretty bad in Miami at a certain point.
Yep.
But
He's killing it
he
now.
is fun to watch, and he's killing it now. The only downside that might bring it down just a little bit is his competition around him. I think he's the best player on that team right now, and it's really not even close. And if you have a roster,
Christian Wood.
Okay, Christian Wood.
You don't think he's better?
Christian Wood's
better Christian Wood?
No, Christian Wood's probably better, but Christian Wood has been getting hurt, and he sat out. I wouldn't say sat out. He's been injured a lot of this season, so I kind of forgot he was on the team. I'm gonna be honest. Besides that, there's not a lot of ball. The ball's not really going to anyone else, and Kelly O hasn't really been on a team where he was able to be the star, and apparently he should be because he's stroking it.
So, I do have to contradict you here. Didn't you get pooped on by Kevin Porter Jr. after he left Cleveland, came to Houston, and dropped like a 60 piece on you or something like that, or a 50 piece?
He dropped 50. He dropped 50 on me.
Yeah.
That was one game. Okay, thank you for bringing that up. I was going to lose anyways.
I'm always
Didn't matter.
bring it
It was an irrelevant game. It was an irrelevant. That game was irrelevant.
Yeah, fair enough. But he still scored some points there. But yeah, no doubt, Kelly O stroking it. Dude is a champion. Hope he gets paid. Thanks for bringing us some good basketball, my brother.
Definitely, he's fun to watch. You can't take that away from him, and he's stroking it. Shady. I think that just about wraps it up. Let me tell the people some things. All right.
Yeah, hit it up, bro.
Hey, our YouTube has absolutely been killing it.
Yeah,
absolutely
thanks,
killing it.
guys.
We are loving it.
Oh,
we appreciate it.
Thank you so
much.
much.
All you guys are liking and subscribing and hitting the bell.
So
hitting those notifications. It helps us so much. Like, you wouldn't believe when you guys comment on it too. It gives us your feedback. We love it.
Big deal.
I can't thank you enough. Check out the Twitter at Elevated Takes. Check out the website at elevatedtakes.com. Shady, what do you got for them?
No, man, go to the website, submit your take. I want to get that going, baby. I want to start seeing what the people out there have to say. Yeah. So and other than that, like I always say, if life's got you down, the coronavirus sucked, everything just kind of sucks.
Fuck.
If things are, you just need somebody to talk to, you just need to reach out to somebody. We're always here. Go to the website, contact us. Even if you don't have a take, just reach out. We love to talk to anybody about anything. And always remember, just because your take isn't elevated doesn't mean it's not important. So, everybody have a good night. Thanks for joining us. RJ, say goodbye to people.
Deuces.